Hello everyone, it is February 13th, 12:33 p.m. here, and this is my end of the week wrap up and summary regarding the account, the challenge, the thought process, and market conditions, structure, etc. So let's get into the result here. So if we go over to Tradovate, okay, we can see a very strong recovery for this week, right? So let's go into this week here. $408, profit 434, and loss of 26. So 12 trades, 10 winners, 2 losers. So dramatic improvement in the trading frequency, as if you recall last week. Again, I think last week I was in a state of, sympathetic, trying to make it happen, and then what results is if you trade where you don't have an edge, you're going to lose money. So this was a lot more. I may have potentially undertraded this week. I think. But the results are very good. As you can see, 83% win rate is exceptional, and the RR 43 versus 13 is exceptional. I mean, anything above 2-1, 55% is very, very good, right? Because we know the Medallion Fund, they've said it publicly, they're only right half the time. They're only as good as a coin flip. But, they achieved that for 20 years. So, again, really good results here. I think yesterday, I forgot what I did yesterday. Let me see. Yesterday I didn't even take a trade. That's how sort of reserved I was. Because yesterday was just no man's land dump. I was waiting for them to find liquidity. And, I was watching the footprint, watching everything, and they just couldn't find it. Oh, you know what? I did do some trades on my personal account. That's still quite small, so we don't have to really go over that. I did make money yesterday on the personal account because I did trade in this range. But for this video, we're just gonna go over the trades for today and the Tradovate. So if we go to today. I think what happened here is the market was sort of moving too quick, right? That's why, again, we have a bid VIX, and this morning the price action was just, this price action was, oh my god, it was moving so fast, and it really is, in my opinion, too fast for any human trader. You really had to sort of wait for things to slow down. This is for the C++ quants here. The price was just moving way too quick for discretionary manual trading. So in all honesty, the first 2 trades that I made were a mistake. Because I just don't think there's any edge there in terms of manual discretion. You can see here the third trade went well. But, plus 38 minus 24 isn't that good. And it was just my goodness, this price action this morning. The good thing was I wasn't watching the 1 minute, because that would have fried your dopamine. My god, it would have just eaten up your brain. Your brain would just dopamine. So again, what happened, right? We go to the 1 minute, and downward sloping structure, major SOW. At the end of the day, I don't think it distributed, right? I think this was just a downward sloping structure, and then we had the change of character here, right? You have the very high constant volume, and it looks like on the daily they found the liquidity, right? You can see 765K in what was a 17 million print on Thursday. So this is very bullish. Okay, it's very bullish when you want to see finished auctions, the recent finished auction in older unfinished auctions. That's what I always look for in the footprint. Okay, so I mean, phenomenal, very bullish here. So, someone stepped in and saved the medium term, is what I'm thinking. So after that, like the winning trade that I took, I was just sort of looking for. I think I took it in here. So what time was this? 10:30. So I bought it at 10:50. Yeah, I bought it between here. So again, what did I look for? I just looked for it to test into an area where there was volume, and we wanted to see low volume within the test. So I was watching the half-hour footprint. I was targeting my normal $1 to $1.50 upside that I'm focusing on, and again, a very routine, exceptional trade. It was just I was really recognizing, okay, am I trying to make it happen, or is the setup there? Right. So when you're trying to make it happen, what does that mean? The sympathetic is in control, and your ventral is not. So you have to be conscious of this, right? You have to be aware that, okay, in order to make money, it's all about controlling the ventral nervous system in control when there's an edge in the market, right? That's why personally I have a theory now that I've sort of thought about it, and it's anyone who didn't make money, or like, for example, I think Mr. Elliot, with his Elliott wave theory, if I read correctly, he didn't really die with a fortune. He was sort of poor. So again, it was the what? It was the nervous system, the frequency, and all the spiritual crap you have to learn before you start trading, because how it goes. You'll work really hard on this, and then you'll work really hard on, I was watching someone else too who said it's the last piece, right? You have to have everything regulated first, and all the spiritual crap, which, I don't know why God expects you to learn in your first year. It's sort of, he just basically tricks some people into becoming gamblers, seriously. Because it's like, you try to make it happen, and you're just gambling, because of all this spiritual prereq stuff that you didn't know. You know what I mean? And then God will go, oh, you should have known this, or it's your fault. Like, shut the fuck up. But yeah, right. You have to be when the edge is present. So you have to study the market enough to have a basic edge. You don't have to know the most advanced shit on the planet. You can study Richard. You can study Elliot. You can study that the bull and bear patterns. Gann. Basically, right, in my opinion, there's sort of like, if there was like more standardized trading, there would be schools of TA where you would learn like Wyckoff exclusively, or you will learn all the bull and bear patterns and the candlesticks or whatever, or you learn Elliott, or you learn Gann. There may be one other person I'm kind of blanking, but yeah, Livermore, of course, had his edge, and we know he was depressed. But again, it's like again, for me to maintain this, it's just about now the nervous system and alignment. So yeah, because very nice turnaround. If we look at last week, terrible, too many trades, boredom trades, low win rate, making it happen. And I mean, it's just completely different. So again, better able to recognize where I have an edge. So yeah, I think going back to the market, I think it's gonna hold here. Someone stepped in, some big You know, someone went and saved the day and said, no, we're not letting this medium term pivot get hit, and just bought like a motherfucker. Um, and so yeah, I was, you know, when I was in the trade, I was looking at the volume profile, trying to buy in a good area where all the shares are being transacted, buying in the TPO. Um, you know, where the market is accepting in terms of time. And I was just waiting for the spring because, again, I'm always interpreting price action in the lens of the Wyckoff method. So I'm looking at, okay, is there a spring occurring? Is there a test occurring to absorb more liquidity and go higher? And that was like the main thing I was looking at. You know, entropy was low to normal, and then it spiked here, but that wasn't relevant for the time of entry. I looked at the TPO a bit on the 5 minute. Yeah, so here we go here. So I don't think I could have gotten this short, or this short. It was kind of just too fast. But again, bullish, right? We're jumping above the creek here, and we should expect an accumulation. I think we can hit another. You know, maybe we can head back up to this daily VPOC here at 620 before you know, someone decides to sell. I'm not sure, but yeah, I think that's gonna wrap up this video. This morning, you know, I didn't do anything normal. I had my you know, normal breakfast. Then I which again is the eggs, avocado on a piece of bread, and then I had my supplements, the creatine, ashwagandha, and lion's mane. And then I have coffee, of course, water. I'm doing a new, you know, drinking water out of the copper cups, right? So I'm letting the water sit in the copper cups overnight and having that. So standard procedure. So now I'm just gonna go take my, you know, shower in the dark, and then the cold exposure after. But you know, I was done early, so that's why I was able to make this video, right? Because I'm in the more walk away right now. As you can see, way less trades, and it's working. But yeah, I think that's all for this video. I'll see you next week. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.